guys were so right with
About what?
the song.
Excessive Rick Ross?
Yeah.
I feel like they cut it down. I may be crazy, but the last game I went to on Friday, I feel like they put more players in because I went opening night and I swear to God, 90% of it was Rick Ross. But then I went on Friday. I was like, I feel like there was still a lot of Rick Ross, but I definitely feel like they cut it down a little bit. So they're listening. I tell you what did happen though that made me happy for the last game. I was boots on the ground. This made me very happy. They finally got rid of that Dan Marino and Michael Jordan jersey. They finally did it.
Where'd they put it?
They got rid of the actual jerseys, and what they did was they changed them to classy numeral banners.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now it's a aqua and orange 13, a red 23, and they've added a green number 6 for Bill Russell because the Celtics were in town.
Right.
So it looks way better. Way better. I was so happy. I was like,
and they only did that so they could add Bill Russell.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe because maybe Riley was like, I ain't putting a Celtics jersey up there. How are we gonna fix this?
Right.
But that's what they did. They put up an aqua and orange 13, which is not retired, by the way. It's honored. Michael Jordan's number is retired. 23 is retired. And now number 6 is going to be double retired because eventually LeBron's number will be retired too. So there you go. That's that. Redecorating. The Heat did get their first win though on Saturday. Thank God. Because it was you know what it was? It was a lot like Sunday Night Football where things were rolling peachy keen up 24. It was cruising and then
it went sideways for like 5 minutes of pure hell. Dude, you're like, oh no, they're gonna give up this lead.
Well, so the big news out of that game, because it's the third NBA regular season game, the big news out of that game was Caleb Martin doing an Islam Makhachev on Christian Koloko, double leg takedown into the stands because the 7-footer was tying him up. And so then like he ends up on the ground and Caleb Martin's like staring down at him. And so the guy gets up, he'd be like, hey, bro, what's your deal? He goes, what's my deal? How about a spear right into the stands? And so it was on. Melee ensued. And so he gets suspended for a game.
Yeah. And it was weird because you couldn't really tell. Like first it looked like dude pulled him down. But then after reviewing the footage, it was the best tackle we saw on Saturday.
Oh, dude, they need to get his ass down to Canes practice. And
oh my goodness.
Caleb Martin can teach them a thing or two, dude.
You give up 45 points to Duke.
Yep.
45 points to Duke. Say that to yourself.
They gave up 45 points to Duke. Embarrassing.
Right. You know what? The basketball team has a better chance of holding Duke basketball to 45 than the Canes did of holding Duke to 45.
Yeah, this has been an awful season. An awful season.
Here's what it is.
And unbelievably embarrassing.
Here's what the problem is. When Miami has played games in the past, and I'm talking about past years, there was always 1 or 2 or 3 guys that you could say from the Canes point of view were the best athletes on the field as far as speed, as far as some, skill set. And I've watched these games all year, and I can't tell you the last time I've said the Miami Hurricanes had the best athletes on the field.
I mean, I will say it's been nice to see Colby Young develop. He looks like a baller, 88.
Yes.
But it's not even that, dude. It's just like the turnovers, 8 turnovers against Duke, dude. Right. 8? Are you kidding? Like, yeah, okay. The talent, not great. I acknowledge it. This is not a good, well put together team. But even like last year, right? They finished the season 7-5. Okay, at least that your quarterback, De'Ara King, had a season-ending injury, and you're bringing in this never played QB before. You had some adversity you were going through, right? And it's like you had like all this hype going in with this season with Tyler Van Dyke and all the money thrown in. And I got to tell you, Leroy, the thing that's most disappointing about this Hurricanes team, yeah, okay, we can talk about the talent maybe not being there, but they're getting the doors blown off them by Conference USA teams. They're not even on the same field as Duke. And quite frankly, the effort, the type of intelligence that they play with just shooting themselves in the foot,
right?
The type of passion they play with, it's just like, that to me is the inexcusable stuff. I'm like, it's so uninspiring watching them every single week.
In the past, there's been players on the Hurricanes team, I guess you could call them leaders or whatever, that would not allow the Hurricanes to go out like this. Meaning that, we all hear, Ed Reed saying, Joaquin said, dominate, we ain't doing it.
Right.
Like, there was always somebody or some people on that team at every level of Miami Hurricanes football I can think of that would not allow that team to go on the field and play that way. Forget the coaching. It was always players, right? And I don't know if this is a situation where I got mine, I ain't going to say nothing, or they're just not talented enough, or they don't understand where they're playing.
Well, here's the thing that I'm a little tired of hearing with, all this outskirt drama that I hear from Canes fans and Canes Twitter and social media. I'm tired of this stuff. I'm tired about hearing about, people getting mad at players' moms, or they're getting mad at the players on Twitter and all this stuff. And don't be mad at the players on Twitter. Dude, you don't think that there's crazy fan bases all over the country that are doing things like that? Like,
yeah.
Get the hell out of here. What I do know is they gave Mario Cristobal a hell of a lot of money. And I don't know what my expectation is supposed to be of talent, or what my expectation is supposed to be of wins. But I do feel like $80 million is supposed to buy you a well-functioning team that doesn't
even if
shoot
they're
itself
not good enough.
Right.
Right.
And this team is not that. And he's going to get a pass. And I'm not saying Mario Cristobal should be fired. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But now all of a sudden we're getting into narrative changing. Well, this is going to take a while. This is going to take a bunch of reboots. Like, okay, dude, but if you're supposed to be this next level coach that's getting paid elite money, and the program is doing things for the first time that they've never done, I would expect 8 turnovers, not going to happen. I would expect penalties, swag penalties, not supposed to happen at the level that they were happening last year. Because I was told last year that guy was an amateur, and that was the reason that was happening. And the same things are happening at a worse level this season.
Right. I would say this. Usually when a new coach comes in and a team doesn't have an extreme amount of talent, the things that they make changes with are how you go about playing the game, how you go about performing, the intensity you go about playing. And I'll give you a perfect example is Dan Campbell ain't winning no games, but everybody feels differently about Detroit based on how they play and how they go about playing football. And with a new coach, the first thing you change is the attitude in which your guys go on the field and play.
Oh, yeah.
Then you worry about the talent portion of it.
Well,
but they haven't fixed that.
No, he did. Don't forget, he got rid of jewelry. That was the reason. That's what he got rid of. Fixed everything.
See, you got a sidebar.
Fixed everything, dude.
Hey, you got a sidebar.
No, let me tell you something right now.
Stop it.
I'm going to tell you something right now, dude.
Stop it.
I'm going to tell you something right now.
All you care about is
this guy got rid of the only cool thing about Miami Hurricanes football over the last 20 years. Took out the only identification that they had, and he said that was going to change things. We're not about trinkets, trophies, and Twitter. Well, what are you about then, dude? Are you about nothing? What are you about?
Ask you a question.
What is he about, dude? You tell me. Being Brett Romberg's friend? What's he about?
Let me ask you a question. Did the Canes have any turnovers last week? I don't think so. Because Duke was
talking about their takeaways?
Takeaways. I think Duke
did
they talked about going to the game, don't turn the ball over. Huh?
Yeah, Duke had 8, Canes had 2.
Okay. I would say this. If that chain was around and it came out for that game, You talking about some hot fans? You breaking out a turnover chain and you giving up 45 points?
But the point is,
you are crazy.
Leroy, the
Dude,
point
they're
is,
terrible.
Leroy, but the
and you're
point,
complaining about a turnover chain.
I'm not complaining about it. What I'm doing is I'm laughing at the idea that this guy came in here, he got rid of a turnover chain, thinking that's going to change the culture. That's stupid.
Yeah,
it's dumb. It's
that's
dumb
right,
to think that getting rid of some.
He's been waiting all year. This has been locked and
It's
loaded.
Stupid.
You've been what?
They did it the first game. No. They did this the first game of the season. Is they get the turnover, and then remember they got the penalty, and Mario Cristobal goes over to the bench and he starts ripping them. Turnover lecture, because they got the turnover, but they got a swag penalty, and he's like, "Oh, look at Cristobal changing the culture." But the first real game that they played going to Texas A&M, they pooped the bed, shot themselves in the foot, and to me, who am I going to blame? $80 million coachy boy over here.
If there is a problem that you can discuss with Mario Cristobal, it is this. Not that they're winning and losing games, right? But the way in which these young men play, right? The way they are playing football right now, I'm still curious as to how he's going to turn it around.
They're going to say the same dumb things that they always say. This is what they say all the time, Leroy. It's rinse, repeat. They've done this with every coach. It's like, well, we got to get his guys in here. We got to get the guys at the end. Let me ask you.
No, that's what the supporters say. Right. But you can watch the damn game. You can watch the damn games and say, I don't care who is playing football for Miami. We're going to play a certain way. That's on coaching. Exactly. I don't give a crap what anybody says.
If you're supposed to be an elite coach, you are supposed to get everybody in that room and everybody in that building to buy into you. Into you. It doesn't matter if they were your recruits or somebody else's recruits, to have them play with a sense of not laying down and quitting.
Right. We're kind of saying the same thing.
You and me, dude.
No,
simpatico, same page.
Here's what I would say. That part of the reason why we do the show so well and why we've done it so long is that we don't agree.
Right, but sometimes
even when we do agree, you have a tendency to keep it going until I don't agree. So can we just leave well enough alone in this situation?
Okay. Turnover chain. Ooh, that was good.
No, see.
Out with Tua. Coming up next.